Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for spending this afternoon with us. I'm Mel. I'm a co-founder of ArteFino, together with Marines Pineda, Zeddy Vargas, Susie Quiroz, and me, ArteFino. Welcome to all our guests, family, friends, our exhibitors, patrons, and friends from the media. We would also like to thank our partners, Rockwell for this beautiful venue here in Malmorny, Smart Infinity and Samsung for making a connection with us. Welcome to ArteFino Stories, infinite connections, building creative resilience, sustainability and responsibility in business and vision for the future. Thank you for coming today. I would like to start by saying that it is such an honor to be standing here in front of you as we come together in what I hope will be one of the best and inspiring and enriching discussions of the year. At ArteFino, we do what we do because we want to create a proudly Filipino community where everyone has a purpose, where every story gets to be heard, and where every Filipino talent is proudly celebrated. What brings all of us together is not just the talent and craftsmanship of the Filipino artisans we represent, but also our shared mission. Our team has put so much time and effort in every single thing we do because we believe in this movement and in its mission. One of which is to do our best in making every year better for everyone who believes in what this movement is trying to achieve. We have come such a long way, especially after coming from a 2-year pandemic. But there's still so much we need to learn, appreciate, and discover. We hope that this roundtable discussion today, that we will be tapping the hearts of our panelists. Thank you. It will be an enlightening experience for all of us. I'd like to introduce our moderator for this afternoon, Bea Constantino. Welcome back to ArteFino.
Thank you.
Bea, we made a connection today again. She has joined one of our fairs in the past, and she is now a freelance fashion stylist and a founder of Studio Sub, which promotes Mindanao news. So Bea, thank you.
Thank you.
Ask on the mic to you and probably talk to me.
Thanks, Mel. Thank you to the entire ArteFino family for having me and having us here today. Welcome. As Mel said, there's still so much to learn and there's so much to discuss today. And I'd like to start by introducing our topic for today, which is building creative resilience, sustainability, and responsibility in business and vision for the future. So when I first heard about the topic, I was so excited to really be a part of it because I myself am so excited and keen to learn about these different topics, which I feel like is so relevant after everything that's happened, right? And we find ourselves here again today. Again, thank you to ArteFino. We are together, and it's like as Mel mentioned, it's a roundtable discussion, but really I feel like it's a casual catching up. It's a casual and inspired conversation. And I'm just basically looking forward to learning from all of our panelists whom I've looked up to for so long. So yeah, I'm really excited to be here today. Also a reminder, so I'm sure we are going to be hearing a lot of valuable insights today, but don't worry, there's going to be a Q&A portion at the end of our conversation, so you get to ask your questions to our speakers. And yeah, I don't know, I just feel so good because the last time I was in ArteFino was before the pandemic, and then the pandemic happened, but ArteFino has also been so supportive behind the scenes, even all the Zoom sessions on how to create content, and which I'm sure you guys are also part of, and really checking up on all the brands. And me, even if I wasn't part of this year's ArteFino, maybe December, for Presente, but they still always check up on me, and the connection is always there. So it really feels like a solid family, right? And with everything that we all went through, the growth through the pandemic has really been so apparent. So welcome everyone. I can't wait to start this conversation, and I'd like to start that with introducing our esteemed roster of speakers. First, I'd like to start with Mike Laparols of Creative Definitions. Beside me is Mara Sebastian of, yes, a round of applause please for Mike. Oh nga, it's casual naman pala. Okay, we can applause. Okay, and then beside me is Mara Sebastian of Sustainably Made by Marseille. Welcome, Mara.
Thank you.
And of course, beside me is Tal de Guzman of Risque Designs. And applause. And of course, Rio Estuar of Rio Tasso. So they have a very interesting collaboration happening right now, which they'll tell us more about in a little bit, right? But yeah, okay, so casually, and just tell us how your brand started and how you got discovered by ArteFino, because ArteFino has really provided such an amazing and effective platform for a lot of us local brands. So Mike, I'll start with you.
Okay. Hello everyone. Well, I'm the co-founder of Creative Definitions, as mentioned by Bea. It's actually a partnership with my wife. And just to tell you briefly, we started way back 2008 with a totally different business mindset. It was mainly trading, and we would bring in Negros-made crafts here in Metro Manila. But in 2017, we made a major shift, actually a big shift. So we got involved into the weaving business. So we partnered with weaving communities in Negros. Why Negros? Because I'm from there. And the reason why behind that is because we wanted to create more impact in the countryside. But 2017, there were two other events I keep explaining people that also happened. Besides the collaboration with the weaving communities, we also got introduced to the sustainability world in terms of, well, especially the footwear and materials. And 2017 was also our start of our collaboration with the Philippine Textile Research Institute. So all those three major events eventually laid the foundation of what my product, which we launched very recently, Lakat Sustainable Sneakers made out of pineapple. And right now in ArteFino, we also launched the menswear collection, which is also made out of the same material. So I just want to thank ArteFino for inviting me in this talk, and I'll continue the rest of the journey and the discussion later on. Thank you.
Mike, remember we were talking behind the scenes. I was asking you so you have Lakat, which is Hiligaynon for?
Okay, Lakat is actually Hiligaynon, or Ilonggo word for to walk or to go.
And then your other brand recently launched is Aire, which means?
Aire means, in Spanish, it's actually air.
Oh, air.
Because actually it's in honor actually of my father. I made this collection for him. Because he was an haciendero, and he liked always, breathable,
relaxed,
and relaxing clothes. So the story starts there, and if you may, I'll continue later on.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you for sharing. Yes, we'll know more in a bit. And I learned a lot about wood today, which Mara, please share with us how you started and how you started also with ArteFino.
Okay, thank you.
Hello? Yeah, it's on.
Yes, so I'm Mara Sebastian, and I'm the co-founder of Sustainably Made by Marseille, which is a brand of wooden kitchenware, home accessories, and bespoke furniture made of sustainably farmed hardwood trees from our own backyard, the Marseille Tropical Timber Tree Farm in Umingan, Pangasinan. Wow, that was a long sentence. But basically, our brand is all about, quite literally, tree farm, to table, actual table. We make tables and chairs and table accessories, chopping boards and serving bowls.
Yeah.
So all made out of wood from our own trees that we grew from 30 years ago. So our farm, Marseille Tropical Timber, is a DNR certified tree farm. And we plant mostly Honduras mahogany, teak gemelina, with a sprinkling of a lot of our native species as well. So, as I said, our farm is 30 years old, but we waited about 20 to 25 years for our first harvest to be able to produce our wooden products. And we launched our brand Sustainably Made in 2013. And it is on that same year that we joined our first fair. I won't na lang say what name it is, but it is there where one of the ArteFino founders discovered us and invited us.
Almost 10 years ago.
Yes, that was almost 10 years ago, and nene pa ako nun. As in literally, I look completely different then than I am looking now. And so our brands, we started out producing a phone stand like this, and now we're producing big furnitures like dining tables and cabinets and even floors and doors for your home.
Oh, wow. And you share this passion with your brothers?
Yes, I do. Thank you for reminding me. Yes, I have two brothers, Mario and Marco. The tree farm was actually started by our parents, Mario and Minda Sebastian. My dad is no longer around, but my brothers and I are continuing his legacy by producing products out of the trees that he planted.
Thank you for sharing such a heartwarming story of family and passing on the tradition, right? So, Tal, of course, a longtime friend, please tell us about your interesting journey.
Thank you, Bea. There.
It's on, yeah.
Hi.
Is your mic on? Anyway, yeah, we'll hear you.
There. Alright, so I'm Tal of Risque Designs. I started actually in 2012. I was a lot crazier as a designer. I was way younger. So my designs, I just wanted to tell stories through shoes. So my shoes had like carved tertiaries.
I remember. Avant-garde.
Carved heels from Paete. And I was really involved into the advocacy of getting the artisans to be paid better. So because in Marikina, there's still a lot of shoemakers who are paid like on a piece rate basis. So we wanted to be part of the change for that. So in 2012, I was just a retail designer. But in 2015, I opened my own manufacturing in Marikina. And I realized, okay, if I wanted to scale, I can't scale it alone. So I decided to open Risque for manufacturing for other brands.
Nice.
And then, so we started accepting different shoe brands to manufacture with us. And we kind of specialize with those who didn't know anything. Because I went through the same thing and I wanted people to commit less mistakes.
That's so generous of you to do.
So because I already got all the mistakes, so at least, it's going to be a better journey for them. So for ArteFino, so before when I started, people didn't have this thing yet. People were asking me why I was using table runners for my shoes. Because I've been using these already from like Negros and from different parts of the country. And they will always ask me, oh, what is that? Isn't that our cortina?
Oh, wow.
So why is it there? But they see like, oh, there's like a tarshi. But for ArteFino, we started in 2019, right before the pandemic. I was with our collective, Stride Collective.
Yes.
So yeah, that's the group of shoe brands that we manufacture for. And we're happy right now with the Rio. And this is actually a collab that we're in ArteFino. Kind of a new energy.
It's like a new beginning,
yes,
right?
It's a new beginning. So we'll talk more about that.
So speaking of new beginnings, the youngest in the group, I want her youthful energy. But yes, Rio, I've followed your brand for a while. So please share with our audience today how you started and of course your journey with Tal and ArteFino.
Hello. This one. Hello.
Yeah, there you go.
So I am just starting. So I am Rio of Rio Tasso, and the name comes from the term retazo, which is scrap fabric, and my name Rio, so Rio Tasso. So everything I make is out of upcycled fabrics. So I collect and take that extra step to clean, sort, and figure them all out and create new rolls of unique textiles, and then I create clothes from there. So that's what I do. I started in 2015. And it stemmed from taking up fashion design as a course and realizing all the negative impacts behind the scenes in the fashion industry. So that's where it all began, and it almost led me to not pursue fashion. Because of all the negative impacts. And then I decided there is a way, because I do love creating and I do love fashion. And so since I want to continue creating, there are ways wherein personally me, I am fighting for, fabric waste. So upcycling fabrics, and as well as the sustainability and also the ethical side of it for the garment workers.
Amazing. Okay, I really want to learn more about that. Okay, so thank you for all your introductions, and thank you for telling us about your brand and your brand story and your startup beginnings. But I feel like, which a lot of us here can relate with, I really wanted to know, parang kamustahan lang? Like, what was the pandemic like for you? Were there any, like for me, I did a complete rebrand. Like, I even changed the name of my brand. Were there any pivots, struggles, and then of course evolution, because we're all here today. How did you guys navigate through that? I want to start with that.
Okay, so of course during the pandemic we were all at home. So footwear, definitely not a necessity. So it was really difficult for us to just keep our workers employed. So we have about 12 in-house shoemakers. And we were able to keep them, as in we were trying to, initially the masks, the PPE, we were doing that just to help them have a bit of work. And we were really happy because the brands that we make for, the other Filipino brands, they're in line with that advocacy, and they understand that we have to keep these shoemakers employed.
You had how many artisans under your...
we have 12 in-house.
Wow, and it was really like a conscious decision for you, we have to sustain them.
Yes, and actually even them, they're inspiring. Because we always, for us, we go through a lot of mental health issues, and it's also for them. But it's also inspiring how they kind of help each other. So I have 12, just I want to make one because I have 12. So parang sabi ko, I don't think I can keep everyone. Yeah. Kasi medyo mahirap the salaries. So what they said, they told me, I asked them, what can we do? So they told me, okay, baka we can na lang po, let's decrease 1 day of work. So we have 5 days. We keep 1 day of work, but we keep everyone employed. So parang medyo na lesson for everyone. Pero sila yung suggest nun. Until we can get
it came from them.
It came from them. Na parang they didn't want to lose anyone also in pain. So parang ako,
but here you are today, diba? So you were able to really just ride that out, and look at you today. You're creating and producing and even collaborating. So for Rio, I want to know also, I know there were some struggles also for you during the pandemic.
Yeah, so for me, since I was just starting before the pandemic, I did have a team of my own. And then during the pandemic, we had to sort of close Rio Tasso, because how I was doing it before was I would join bazaars, and I would make a bunch of stuff and sell them everywhere. And then during the pandemic, we didn't have events. And so I had to shift for a while, and I discovered that's when I started talking to the consumers more online. That's when I started engaging, so that I wanted to know what the consumers needed during the pandemic. And I actually created a cozy set, because people were at home. And so with my fabric scraps, I created a roll of this orange and green, really, really comfy set. And that's what I started selling during the pandemic until I could build my team again. And then from there, when I got them back, we then started to shift to more customized garments. And that's when I realized that, because people, even me, when I was shopping during the pandemic, I shifted towards pieces that I would wear and wear again, and pieces that, tell a story. And so then I was thinking that that's what people wanted to. So I was creating for and with people, so that you have pieces that you can keep forever, that you love so much. Ended up that people would send their old clothes, and we would upcycle it into something new. So it's very, very meaningful to them.
Oh, if I may, actually, I just remembered because of what we said. So kasi nga hindi kami necessity. So what we did was, we made home slippers, but also made of weaves. So people, so parang just at home, be cute na lang.
What do you need, diba? Yeah. What do people need?
And then we also made collars, removable collars, na parang just seen for your Zoom meetings.
Yeah, that's
parang
smart.
Just here lang, just collars. Kasi parang kahit naka-t-shirt
ito lang
ito lang siya. So at least they
That's
get more
smart.
jobs.
Yeah. Amazing. Okay, so talagang you become really like, you improvise and you become creative. But for Mike, for you, did you find, was there a struggle? Kasi like your pieces can be used naman at home, or was there anything like that you experienced?
Well, let me expound on that.
Yeah.
When the pandemic came in, basically we didn't stop the production because we made a commitment with our artisans, primarily the weavers in Negros, that we will continue the income stream. And that was kind of important. Maybe a minor adjustment in the production rates, but we never stopped the purchase. I mean, in fact, we stocked them up more in preparation for the good day. So that was our commitment. We didn't stop the production because I knew they were going to have a more difficult time. At the same time, while we were busy weaving fabrics, because besides, of course, Lakat and Aire, we also have the shawls and the scarves. We were doing R&D with PTRI. So we didn't stop going to PTRI almost daily.
Even at the height of all the
except
lockdowns.
during their mag-lockdown sila, when their R&D departments got hit, closed shop. So we have to wait another 2 weeks. So it was an ongoing process. We never stopped. The reason why we were there, because we were learning already the processing of the fibers into yarns. So that was a continuous process from March until, I'd say, until October. No, sorry, until about August. Then we started already the R&D on the sneakers. That's why we were able to launch last November 2021. Okay, another thing, important thing that happened during the pandemic, my wife and I, we learned how to come up with a website. So, our free time. So, hindi lang Netflix, sorry. We couldn't take the idea of getting bored. Netflix can only do so much. So we basically taught ourselves to set up a Shopify website, and from there we sold some of our items. So it was a good activity, and while my kids were busy, I bought them a 3D printer, so they made the first shields, we donated in the hospitals. So a lot of things, we just had to continue with a lot of activities. But bottom line is, we came up with this in time for November.
Amazing. Yeah. It's an amazing product.
And I'm very proud because a lot of, Lakat is actually a product that was a product of people moving together. From Sarah helping us to prodding us, Luis engaging with us. A lot of people were involved. So just imagine it was a big wheel with different spokes. And that was the objective, to come up with Lakat. And we're kind of proud of it because we did it in less than 6 months. We launched it last November 20. Although the idea, by the way, of Lakat started 5 years ago. The light bulb movement started 2017, I mentioned earlier, when we went to Hong Kong and attended a sustainability fair. And that was the time, 2017, 2018, we learned the rudiments of shoemaking through towel. No, I have to say.
Everyone's connected.
Yes, everyone's connected. Then also zapateria. Yeah, so the nice thing with community here, we just love to talk to each other. Even in our group chats, we learn a lot. And even Anya Lim also did some recommendations. Isa Cruz also. I mean, a lot of people were involved. So it wasn't just us. It was a convergence.
It takes a village, as they say.
Yeah, convergence. Ira is a different story. Later na.
But Mike, it seemed that continuously creating was a helpful way for you to get through the pandemic, right? Because some people just
because if not,
themselves.
mental issues. If you're not going to do anything, mental issues talaga. So we kept ourselves busy. What? Yes, and another thing, Okay, I'll explain.
Please.
I'll explain. Actually, that was the next one. The supply chain. The pineapple yarns, the pineapple fibers come from Negros, the Occidental, Don Salvador Benedicto to be exact. The cotton fibers come from Bayawan, Negros Oriental, so again, Negros again. But to weave the yarns, basically we had our weavers there in Kabangkalan, Negros Occidental, and the looms that basically weave the uppers of this were donated actually by ArteFino. And I thank you for them.
Because they visited the community
Yeah, because I received a call from Sebi one time. Hey,
will they visit again?
She gave me only 2 days to prepare for the trip. I was in Iloilo, so we went there and brought them up there, and I think they enjoyed. They rode the truck. Remember that?
That was an experience for them.
It was an experience. Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that.
So I thank ArteFino for the looms, but more than that, it's more on helping us also gain some credibility for our brand, because that's how it all starts. I mean, when you develop a brand, credibility is very important, and ArteFino was actually one of our one of the important elements that made it possible.
Thanks for sharing, Mike. Amazing, really inspiring story of, again, resilience during a difficult time. What about for you, Mara? Were there any roadblocks that you experienced, or were there any parang desperate moments that you experienced during the pandemic?
Yes, of course, definitely. I think all of us as individuals have experienced difficulties, and more so for small SMEs, because we also not have our family to think about. We also have to think about our people. That's what Tal mentioned. Yeah. So for us, the first thing that we did was we really took advantage of what the government was offering in terms of assistance for SMEs. The DOLE gave ayudas to our employees. We took advantage of that. And as a small to medium-sized enterprise, we also took advantage of the small business loan that was given by the government at 0% interest. So, of course, we did this because at that time, there's no sales. As Rio
at all?
Yeah, no sales.
Because you were selling at the time, like
Rio said, in bazaars and fairs like ArteFino. And there was nothing. We also had no weddings, no corporate events where we usually sell in bulk our products. So there's nothing. And we took advantage of these things that the government was offering to tide us over. Because as an SME, no sale, no living, right? So the second thing is, as Rio mentioned earlier, we really had to find a way to connect with our customers as there are no events. And this is what we did online. We hired a social media manager to really, help us properly engage with our customers online. And like Rio said, we asked our customers what they needed. And they told us, everybody's working from home, studying from home. We need desks for our kids, study tables, office tables. And then that's where we launched our small office, home office. Small, hindi ko na maalala yung pangalan. Small
home office.
Small office, home office.
It's a witty term.
Which is our line of laptop tables. Very light, very easy to bring around in every part of your house. And this is where I really appreciated the ArteFino community, because it was through ArteFino that we launched this Soho collection. They were really the first ones.
ShopArteFino.com.
Yes, ShopArteFino.com. They launched their website, and we really jumped on that opportunity. And that was our bread and butter for months.
Wow.
It's even selling until now.
Wow.
And so that was a really big pivot for us in terms of product offering, because we were creating small home kitchen accessories. And now we have the opportunity to create furniture. So that was the start. And then from then, a lot of people were spending 24/7 in their homes, redecorating their homes. I need a new dining table. Ganyan. Di ba? Farm to table nga kami, di ba?
Literally. Akalain mo.
Literally. Mga talaga kami lamesa. Ganyan, di ba? And then, so everything from shelves to cabinets to tables, custom bespoke furniture. That's where it all started for us. And again, the ArteFino community, and so this is not just shopartefino.com, but the actual customers of ArteFino who really appreciate and understand our brands, what we stand for, our advocacies, the communities that we support, and how we produce the products. We were really able to reach them, and they were also able to reach us through shopartefino.com. So I'm really very thankful to ArteFino for providing that platform and allowing us to sustain our business throughout the pandemic.
Amazing. I think our speakers deserve a round of applause because they got through the pandemic, and all the other brands here. I I mean, I know it really wasn't easy. Other brands that are here, like so much respect for everyone. It was so just really candidly, right? We were making chica behind the scenes, and it was really like, I'm sure some brands can relate. So tempting to just kind of like stop it now and just focus on yourself, you know. But here we are today, and the ArteFino festival is still ongoing. Can you imagine that, face to face, finally together? So you guys really like deserve many pats on the back. So thank you for sharing your stories. But yeah, like just jumping from what Mara was saying, and Rio was saying, like you're providing solutions, right? Which probably you wouldn't have thought of doing. We don't know, you know, if this whole challenge didn't happen. So now you're able to connect with your customers, and now you're able to really provide solutions for what they really need now. Because of that, let me dive deeper into the meat of our topic today. The first part being creative resilience. You know, it's a newly discovered skill, life skill that I have during this pandemic. That there's resilience in like what Mike did, like keeping on creating, and like what you did, you just had to pivot. So can you tell us if there were any changes you made when it comes to your creative process in order to make sure your system, the way you run your business, is already pandemic proof? I'll start with Rio, Tal, anyone.
Okay. Yeah. So I was gonna say
yes.
Creativity.
That's why we're here together right
That's
now.
why we're here. During the pandemic, during the start, the height of it, a friend had a gathering, an event, and then we were so tired coming from what we all just mentioned happening to our small businesses. And we sat down in a corner, and we were just talking.
We were just eating.
We were just eating. We probably
or something.
only met once before this event, and then at that event again. And then I talked about what I work with, Retaso, and you know, I miss the creativity. Like I'm stuck in the pandemic. And then, and you said you were too?
Wow.
Yeah, and then I just said, can I turn Retaso into shoes? And then we were both like, maybe we should do that.
We had some stuff like what I'm wearing today. We had stuff like altered by Rio, like she does that, like to make things fit you again.
And that was the event.
Yeah, it was something like that. And then I was saying, oh, I think this will also look nice on shoes, like little patch.
Like this one.
The pants she's wearing right now were too long for her when she walked into the fair. I remember. Then she had them cut, and we had like 5 inches of fabric, and we turned it into a bucket hat. And from there,
it's featured in both.
It's on Vogue Philippines right now.
A little flex.
Kinlig ako. But
Not a big deal, just Vogue.
So, but
Congrats.
About the collab. So we were talking about how to put our brands together. So we said, okay, I think ArteFino is coming up, but how we can propose that this is the one that will feature in ArteFino, our group. So we did it, and we were like going through different things. And then,
wait for it.
Wait for it.
So we'll go through the others muna.
Sige.
We started with syempre, sustainable and sneakers. Then we were trying to be witty with our marketing, play with names. Sustaining sandals. Hindi,
Not so much.
So we go with
Retaso.
Yeah. Oh, Retaso.
Retaso for her, shoes for us.
And it's actually on the labeling, right, of your Retaso.
Retaso.
So see what collaborations can really bring about. What about did it change the way you create, or did it change the way you design?
I think we were like really learning from each other because there's a lot of back and forth the whole time. Because I would send her the patterns, and then they'd individually like patchwork everything and then send it back to us, and our shoemakers would put them all together.
Yeah. So my first time working with shoes.
Right.
So even the patterns, when they sent them over, I didn't know which part was what for a shoe. So it was fun.
And our team did, it's different for them to do patchwork. Kasi we use naman like local weaves and everything. Pero parang meron ding mga happy mistakes that we found.
Parang, okay,
so parang mali yung na-put together nila na pinatchwork ni Rio.
Hindi same diba?
Tapos biglang, uy, maganda rin siya.
Yeah, like this one, diba? They're not the same, but it's beautiful and it makes it unique.
To the point that someone was shopping yesterday, trying on 2 different colorways, and walked out with that set.
Yes. Parang, one is a weave, one is a parang...
They're both mismatched.
Yeah, they're mismatched.
Was it a mistake or...
No. She
got
got from 2 different boxes na magkaiba. So we said, okay, okay, they match naman. So we'll just have to find the other person
Someone
who will also buy them.
Someone is quirky. So if anyone wants a very quirky pair of sneakers,
It's a size 10 in pink.
Please visit booth number
Booth
5
Size
so you
10.
can get the other pair.
Yeah,
That's
it's
so
pink, by the way.
It's pink. Okay, nice color. What about for you, Mara?
Well, for us, in terms of a drastic change, not so much, and I'll explain why.
Right.
Because in any season, whether it's a pandemic or not, we try to always stay true to who we are as a brand. And we're inherently a tree farm. So the principles behind being a tree farm will always be the same in producing products that customers will need, whether or not it's in a pandemic or outside of a pandemic. So we always make sure that we are sustainable in that we employ a no wood wasted policy in our tree farm.
Because you were telling me before when you would just sell the materials and there's a lot of like parang natabas na wood.
Yes,
that
because
would just
correct. Because we started out selling lumber to wood manufacturers, and we would create floors. And all these things will have cut-offs, what we call cut-offs in the wood industry.
cut-offs.
Cut-offs. Retasos.
Retaso but wood.
Wood. Cut-offs. Ganda ng pangalan. And us, as tree farmers, sobrang kaming sayang na sayang sa mga retaso. Kasi, biro mo,
it's a lot.
Pinanim namin yun eh. 20 years namin pinalaki yung puno. Diba? Tapos, yung maliit na, like this was made out of a retaso.
This is one of their to this day, it's a bestseller. It's always getting sold out.
Yeah.
So this
is
is
our first
their
ever
phone
product,
stand.
our phone stand.
I put my phone now.
And it's still our best seller up to today. And we made these phone stands out of cut-offs, retaso, from making floors and from selling lumber to wood manufacturers. So yung ganong klaseng value and principle sa pagiging isang tree farm, it is always what guides us when we create products. But during the pandemic, what really struck us was the need to be where our customers are at any point in time. So this is where, like Mike said, we had to really invest in creating our own website. Nauna talaga si ArteFino, shop ArteFino.com. Na-inspire kami to create our own website. Actually, na-force kami. You're really forced to create our own website.
And has it been an effective platform?
Yes, definitely. I can say even until now, where we're already starting events and everything, a lot of our sales are still coming from social media, from our website, from emails, and all custom made.
So digital
talaga. So I'm not discounting the return of these events. We love this event. These events.
Iba rin yung energy, yung face-to-face.
Because this is also where you can touch our products and appreciate the craftsmanship. Tapos iba rin yung online, di ba? Because anywhere, anytime, pwede.
Yeah.
So, yun yung talagang na-force kami na gawin. Talagang to go online. Kung dati, kasi 10 years na kami, wala pa kaming website, di ba? So, kung dati parang iffy pa kami na gumawa ng website. During the pandemic, talagang ito na. Kailangan na natin gawin ito.
Yeah.
Ngayon na.
Yeah. That's a major change and also a major, I guess, indication of resiliency. And it's a milestone, I would say, for your brand,
yes,
right?
and also investment.
Investment,
because,
that's true.
Galing nga nila Mike. Ginawa nila yung website nila. Hindi ako marunong eh.
I had to make my own Shopify website. But I don't know how to code, guys. So
But for us, we really hired somebody.
It's easy.
I'll hire you, Mike.
Yeah, we hired someone to make our own website. And we even hired a social media manager.
It's very important.
Kasi malay ko ba yung sa stories na yan? O sa reels na yan? Ano ba lahat yan, di ba? Hindi na ako na-catch up. Okay lang, di ba? So we really hired somebody to do our social media for us.
Very important, yeah.
Actually, yung sa online. So right now, with before kasi our website was mostly parang for, showcase. But now everything is all there because you're asking about making it pandemic-proof.
Yes.
So we made it more streamlined. Like even the inventory is there. So right now, even in the ArteFino event, we have our POS there from our Shopify. So everything is already updated.
Nako, ako manual pa ako. Yeah. Can I hire you, Mike? Can I hire you also? I need help. No, but that's really important nowadays, especially, everything's, parang it's all part of the pivot, right? Yun nga, pandemic proof. What about for you, Mike? Like, was there ayun nga, so you created your website, but was there like parang a change in terms of your creative process?
Well, if you ask me, major shift in everything.
Everything.
So, because if you go back to our vision, my vision, I changed my vision and mission. Before it was basically to support the weaving communities, to create livelihood for them. So, that major shift in 2017, I said, we have to think of something bigger here. So I'm looking at not only the local market, but the international market. So it's a total overhaul. I'll start with the product. I mean, it had to be presentable not only here, but also foreign buyers. So basically a lot of it, while we have the artisanal side, the hand weaving side, we fix also the production side to standardize sizing, the cutting. Kasi hindi pwede yung basta-basta lang ordinary fabrics you're going to use here in a sneaker, it's not going to survive. So that's one. So on the product side, the whole value chain we have to basically overhaul. So we start working not only with the farmers, the suppliers of the pineapple fibers and the cotton, but also the processing into yarns. And even to the weaving of the fabrics, we have to teach our weavers to be more conscious on quality. It had to be tight. So even the weave patterns, there's a specific weave pattern we choose that it doesn't run. And despite of that, we still experience a bit of fraying, but it's improving, and it's a matter of backing it up properly. And second, instead of distribution-wise, we're selling online. ArteFino is still there to help us out, but we're trying to expand that. Hopefully, we get some wholesalers abroad.
International stock.
International, yeah. So we're moving towards that because we're producing more in volume right now. In terms of the marketing and in terms of the creative side, because it's not only when you say kasi creativity, it's not only the aesthetics, the design.
Exactly.
It includes the production, from the farmers to the production to everything.
To how you sell.
So everything has to work in. I mentioned in a wheel you have different spokes. So I hired also a creative director. I have a team of in social media, and I have one for Lakat, and I also have one for Aire. So each one work in their own way now. So we had to basically up the ante, because we're dealing here with something that you can just, yung kulang-kulang na support.
Or basta-basta lang.
Sign the brand. If you're gonna go into that route, you have to prepare also to invest not only equipment, but also even the dyes to cut the fabrics. You have to invest in that. So if you're going to that route, you really have to look at that. Then the marketing, I'd say, is very, very important. Even though you have the website, but if you have no social media support to sell it, it's not going to work.
Right.
You're just going to waste your money. So actively, you have to have that support. Then, of course, the design aesthetics, our creative director also is helping us out, our consultant. And Aire, there's a lot of work also going on there. And, well, if you're asking what is the future, it starts now.
I want to hear your vision, but more on that later.
Yes.
But okay, this is it, because I feel like when we're discussing, I feel like this is a separate roundtable discussion in its own. So we will try to get and share as much insights within the time frame we have. But Mike, since you were just talking, I want to ask you, what is your definition of sustainability? And what are the practices you enforce now, where your business is at now, or where your brand is at now, that ensure that you run a responsible local or a social enterprise?
Okay, that's a very good question, because I have to be honest. We have to study, we have to experience the mistakes. But if you ask me what sustainability is, well, it's not only the materials, the process, whether it's recycled or not. That's just a very small percentage of the whole thing. You have to consider also the social impact and the economics, because you may be investing in, let's say, green energy, but if you're not making money, then what's the point? I mean, we have to earn a bit reasonable profit to be sustainable. Then, so all those three major pillars, I call those pillars, the environmental, which includes production, the raw material, everything. Of course, the greener the better. I'll cite one example. The extraction of our pineapple fibers actually use solar power in Negros.
Wow.
So, the decorticating machine that we use there is solar power. So that's one step towards lowering the low carbon footprint. No, lowering the carbon footprint.
Yes.
So that's one. Then, and sustainability also is your mindset. Even our house. I mean, you have to practice it also, collect all the bottles, give it to recycling bin. So, day to day we have to practice that. But the important is social also, because your workers, okay, I don't want them only to earn a minimum wage. I want them to earn a living wage. What is living wage? Living wage, basically, they have extra income, probably to invest more in their kids, or to invest in land. Yeah, or build their own house. So that's the fair trade side. Minimum wage is according to law. But they should earn more, and we're working towards that to make it better. It's not yet perfect, it's happening. But on the environmental side, in terms of the materials, that's very interesting because we're not only looking at pineapple here. In the Philippines, we have more than 30 fibers. The challenge is how to make them wearable or to make them applicable. We have that technology. It's a matter of putting things together and you'll just wait. There'll be more high-tech stuff coming in the future.
Because Ire is made from what fabric?
Oh, it's still pineapple cotton.
Pineapple cotton.
Yes, and
that you developed, right? The brand developed.
Yeah, we developed the brand. Actually, it's on my dad because he liked yung mga fresco na mga outfits. No? So it's actually to give in honor of him, really. So because before in the shenderos they wear white, normally white, because it's cooler.
Oh, white.
Yeah. So normally it's cotton. So now I'm mixing with a bit of pineapple fibers to make it because it looks like linen and it looks cool.
Yes. And it's kind of like aligned with what your dad also did. He helped mechanize.
Well, my father is the father of mechanized sugar farming.
Mechanized sugar farming.
Yeah, because during the time 1970s, he already was doing that. While all other shenderos were still doing manual. He said, we're going to have labor problems in the next 2 decades. And it happened during the 80s in Negros. So that's the way to go. I mean, you have to put in innovation. And like this one, this is our latest launch in ArteFino, our slip-ons. Well, we have the sneakers, we have the slip-ons. So innovation, non-stop innovation, it's in our blood. And among others.
Inspiring, thank you.
Thank you.
It's also a form of sustainability, sustaining traditions or sustaining whatever your ancestors did to better the community. It's something that's obviously, it's close to my heart.
Yeah, it's important to mix technology and also traditions.
Right.
So that, it can move forward.
Exactly. For me personally, when I was researching on some of the topics today, and I was really telling, especially Rio, because I wanted to get a younger, creative's perspective on this. But, sustainability, that word in itself, has a plethora of definitions, right? Like for you, like when a person says sustainability, the first thing that comes to your mind is eco, environment, ganyan. But then, there are also different ways of sustainability, like your brand helping sustain a community, sustaining a tradition, sustaining practices. So, for you, Rio, I'll pass the same question. I'll repeat it because it's a lot of words. But I wanted to ask you, what is your definition of sustainability and what are the practices that you enforce in your business now to ensure that you run a responsible social and local enterprise?
So for Rio Tasso, finally now that I have my whole team again together, I would say we are a collective. We work as a collective. So we are all actually my partners, my mananahe, everyone, my team. They're all shareholders in the business as well. Because during the pandemic, right when I was able to get my team back, I decided that everyone needs, a fair say in how we should run this, how we should run Rio Tasso. And it's still very small, but it's growing and I hope that it grows. So that's one thing that's important to me because when you do know the negative impacts of the current, how the fashion industry operates right now, you will really feel the need to, help the people who make our clothes. Because without them, we wouldn't have what we're literally wearing right now. And so that's very, very important to me, aside from sustaining the team. and like you said, paying them a fair living wage. More than that, they should be able to save. It's not because they help us. They really do, and they're very important a part of the production process of our clothes. So that to me, sustainability is the collectiveness of my team. And aside from that, very, very tiny na yung fabric scraps for me. Because that is, honestly, I will even tell myself that is one of it's a bare minimum. It's hard to do, but patchwork. People do patchwork. You can do patchwork. You can patch together and piece together fabrics, but it's more of the people who make it and the people who work hard to patch them together and keeping those people together as well.
So community pa rin.
Community.
So it's parang
it's really
keeping not just the material,
yes,
but it's really the people behind the scenes,
yes,
diba? Kasi parang even if you have a brand that uses that helps minimize fabric wastage, but if you're only putting out one collection and then wala na after, it's not for the long term. Wala siyang impact, kulang sa impact siya.
Yeah, so with the fabrics as well, that one naman, I guess it's really, I love playing with the fabrics and the textiles and creating new textiles from it, and that's something that I'm also passionate about and I wish would grow. It takes a lot of time to do, and that's the initiative I took on, the challenge I took on for myself, is to create from fabric waste.
Worth it naman kasi look at their products, diba? Super nice. And yun nga, you're helping a lot of, not just artisans, but families as well, diba? And for you, I kind of heard your story when we were having our coffee there. But what was it like? What is your, for you, given the landscape now, what is your definition of sustainability? But I mean, it's in the name of your brand, obviously, but just share with us some insights, your definition of sustainability, and then social responsibility and responsibility in business as well.
Okay, correct. So, yes, sustainably made by Marseille. That's our name. And people will always ask when they buy from us, what do you mean when your brand says sustainably made
Because
by
that's
Marseille?
been the name since before.
Yes, that's been our name.
When sustainability wasn't even used often.
Yes. And our brand name cannot go without the by Marseille, okay? Because otherwise, sustainably made. What is that, man?
Right.
So we have to connect it to our tree farm.
Yeah. Marseille is the name of your tree farm.
Marseille, Tropical Timber Plantations Inc. Ang haba. But that's the name of our tree farm. So we actually call ourselves tree farmers because that is inherently what we are. We are tree farmers who are dedicated to developing tree plantations that ensure a future where the need for wood is met in harmony with nature.
Nice.
So, kung sa sustainability, kami talaga yung environment, kung iisipin mo. So, I'll talk about that first a bit before I'll touch on the two other points that we think sustainability is all about. So, again, we're a 30-year-old tree farm. So, literally ako, nung high school ako, nagtanim ako ng seed. Yun ang summer job ko eh.
Sa farm ng parents mo.
Habang yung mga kaklase ko, nagta-travel the world.
Yeah. Summer break.
Ako nagtatanim. Nagtatanim ako, ganyan. Nagdidilig. Nagpuprune ng seedlings. Ganyan. Yan yung summers ko. So, I literally grew up with the tree farm. And because I grew up with the tree farm, I know the amount of effort it takes to grow a tree and to take care of a tree and how much money it's involved in developing a tree farm. And that's why when we develop products, hindi talaga pwede yung retaso-retaso na itatapon mo lang siya, iuuling mo. Masakit yun sa puso. Diba? Masakit yun.
Parang sinusunog mo yung tela.
Oo, masakit yun. Kaya kami, when we develop products, like the collection we made for ArteFino this year, it's made out of really small off-cut pieces that we glued together to create a product.
So this is a laptop cooler.
This is our Amihan laptop cooler. Yeah. So you put it on your lap when you work on your bed or on a lounge chair. You put your laptop on it, and it provides natural ventilation.
Which is really needed.
With the holes.
Yeah. Nag-overheat.
Yes. And we use this same method of gluing wood together to create other products like serving boards, lechon boards, tables. We use this type of technique as well. Kasi nga sa amin, hindi pwede ang retaso na tinatapon. Kailangan magamit lahat. Lahat ng part ng puno, ginagamit natin.
Tinanim mo yun eh.
Oo, tinanim na. Ako
Diniligan
nun
And I was asking Mara what wood this was made of, and she said it's made of different types.
It's mahogany, teak, jamalina. Yeah. So you can see, talagang retaso talaga. Iba-ibang klaseng kahoy. Yeah. So in terms of environmental sustainability, all the wood that we make into products comes from our own backyard, which I personally planted on the ground and watered. And once the tree is cut, we use every part of the tree. The leaves we make into fertilizer, the small branches we make into candle holders, the trunk into bigger pieces of furniture, the stumps we make into bowls, and then the retazos we make into this kind of technique, wood technique. Yeah.
Circularity.
Yes. Correct. So that's in terms of the environment. So again, we're tree farmers. But as Mike also mentioned earlier, it's also about the people. Who do we employ? We employ rice farmers from around our tree farm community. So they're tree farmers. We don't tell them to stop being tree farmers. They are tree farmers 4 to 6 months of the year.
Wow.
2 harvests yan sila in a year, di ba? Because also, as a tree farm, we don't also plant trees in flat land. Because flat land is used for food. So we encourage our rice farmers to continue tilling the land to plant rice and whatever other fruits and vegetables there is. And on their off season, they come work for us at our tree farm. So kung dati, nung wala pa yung tree farm, nabubuhay lang sila sa pagtatanim ng palay, di ba? So ilang buwan lang yan sa isang taon. Ngayon, nagtatrabaho rin sila sa tree farm, buong taon may trabaho sila.
Yeah.
Di ba? So extra. And then we don't get anything from the rice farmers because their rice land is in our land. So whatever they grow in the rice land, that's theirs. And then they get employment and woodworking skills training from us. In fact, we work with the Department of Technology.
UST.
Yes.
UST.
Department of Science and Technology. I'm sorry. They were the ones who actually provided our first woodworking machineries at a very, very friendly loan. And they also provided woodworking training to our rice farmers. So, biro mo yun, rice farmer ka na, woodworker ka na.
Pwedeng sumali.
Oh, diba?
Mag-apply si Rio.
Retaso eh.
And do you find them fulfilled in that aspect?
Yes, fulfilled because they make a living wage, as Mike said, diba? And this is not just now, but also until the future.
Yeah.
Diba? And we try to also educate their children. Some of them are also working with us now. Na yung success sa buhay, hindi lang palagi sa syudad. Diba? Pwedeng nandito sa probinsya, nandito sa farm.
Yeah.
Hindi ka kailangan magpunta sa syudad, maghirap na magtrabaho doon. Makipagsapalaran. Pwedeng dito sa tree farm. Pwede.
I'm sure, Mike, you have insights also when it comes to that. So you said earlier na talagang you really made sure, and it was a priority, that your artisans or the workers, I guess, or in your community get paid not just minimum but really well. So do you find that there has been like a change in how they work or their passion for the and then also na yun nga, coming from not just in Manila but in Negros.
I'll just elaborate an example.
Yes.
Among the weavers, basically when we pay them, let's say the labor or whatever, the contractual the price, we involve them in the pricing. Let's say setting up the price, the cost. It's not only us. It's not only dictated by the market or the neighbors or whatever. So we make sure that they're happy with the price. Let's say per yard. So we came up with the matrix in terms of the width and the complexity of the weave. So we have a matrix there. And we engage them. We ask them, is this okay at the price? And later on, if they find some difficulty, we add up a bit. But we cannot. But we also tell them that we cannot price it this much because it's going to go beyond There's like also a ceiling where we need to. I'm talking about the fabrics.
Yes.
So there's always that communication, and that's where the difference between a regular, let's say, contractual setup and a social enterprise, because you're also dealing with their lives. So cash advances, they need money. During the typhoon, we also assisted them because a lot of their homes. And I have to say thank you also to Zonta for assisting us in that regard. The weaving center got damaged, so the looms got wet. It's a good thing they didn't break. So, people were there to assist. But the whole idea, you have to take care of the community, even especially those dire need times. And the idea is not to abandon them in the middle of something. So, besides providing work, during the typhoon event, our objective was not food, because LGU was providing food. I told them in 3 weeks' time you guys have to start working again, so that so in 3 weeks' time they were able to start weaving again. So that's a setup. That's the difference between a social enterprise and just a mere trader who would just buy Pacquiao. So I want to differentiate that, and I hope other brands who are listening here do the same thing, because there's more to it than just buying and selling their products. You have to take care of them, and you have to educate them. That's why we facilitate training to improve their weaving techniques, for example. So it doesn't stop there. It shouldn't stop there.
Very inspiring. And when Mike was talking, you were talking about the typhoon, which parang it's almost a year ago, and I'm sure it was such a blow for all the communities. You also had an experience. Did you have an experience?
Of course, like Mike said, as a social enterprise, you have to think about, of course, first, parang when we talk about sustainability, yes, it's the planet, right? So for us, it's like, even our scraps, like what I'm wearing is like scrap leather. We collaborated with Junk Nut, another social enterprise, for that. Because we can't do everything naman. So it's really like a collective effort. You reach out to others that have the same advocacy. But during the typhoon, especially Typhoon Ulysses, we were really, the only reason we are also still existing right now is because of everyone else that's around us that are supporting. Like in Typhoon Ulysses, so Marikina was really devastated. Like up to like second floors of the homes were like flooded. So for us, we were lucky, we didn't get flooded out. But some of our workers, like talagang their whole house gone.
Flood.
Yeah, it's gone. It's not just like normal water flood. It's like putek flood, like it's that bad. So we were worried that we don't know how to like reach out and help them. So we tried muna. So we tried, okay, maybe we can give assistance to about 50 families, maybe, hopefully. Kasi through the help of Stride Collective at that time, we tried to raise funding to give relief. Tapos the outpour of support from the community, at the end of it, we were able to provide for about 700 families.
Wow.
So, 50 was the goal. Yeah, at the end of it, like yung our production facility became repacking center for the typhoon. So that's but it's really like that. It's the people. Before the pandemic pa kasi, our goal for Risque is really not just to make them not just a living wage for them, but to empower them to become entrepreneurs themselves. Like I always tell them, my dream is not, I don't have you here forever. Mm-hmm. I want you to become entrepreneurs yourselves so that you can increase the impact, you can hire other people. So, nung una, before pandemic, they don't parang, sige, okay lang kasi they're really earning well. Mm-hmm. Pero nung nag-pandemic, doon nila na-realize na, I have to also have something. So, some of them started na their own on the side na shoemaking nila din. Parang sandals lang. But they also, yes. Yeah, we call them shoepreneurs.
Shoepreneurs.
Yeah, so some of them.
Another witty term.
No, we really have that term.
Sorry, existing na pala. Sorry.
It's our term for them.
Shoepreneurs.
But I guess people only realize the importance of preparing for the people when it happens na. Kasi hindi kami makasurvive if we didn't have like the savings system for them. Kasi with a lot of workers is normally they do advances. It's very common. They would always ask for an advance. So we said, okay, if you save, because we pay them on a weekly basis. So we said, okay, if you save, let's say, 50 pesos for this week, next, we will match that with 50 pesos also as the company. So they're able to build up the savings, some of them. So although we got help also from the government, from the SAP and everything, but they were able to take out from that emergency savings. It was hard nga lang noong una kasi, like, we said it's only for emergencies. Pero syempre nung umpisa, baka pang bills, pwede din. But no, that's not emergency. But yun yeah, when the pandemic happened, that's when they appreciated na, okay, it's good to have this savings. And you're taking care of the people part. They also take care of you back.
Yeah. I think that was my takeaway from what Mike said.
So, conscious effort to help them without really announcing.
Yes.
Because yung iba, selfie agad.
Yes.
Tulong, selfie agad. That seems to be the norm. You don't need to brag. What is important, the people really help. Just help if you want to help.
It's honestly, I would like to add to that. The bare minimum is to be a nice human being.
Yeah.
that's the bare minimum.
Yeah.
So everything after that, that's out of your passion or your love for your fellow.
Anyway, God will help you in another way.
We're here under. Okay. No, sorry, we had an inside joke before the start of the show. Anyway, it's wonderful lighting. But thank you for sharing your struggles. I feel like it was such an honest experience for all of us, right? Because so even me sometimes during the pandemic, diba? Parang sometimes for representation, you want to say, yeah, it's fine, I got it figured out. But it was really heartwarming to really hear the struggles, that it wasn't as easy as it seemed, and we weren't the only ones going through it, right? Like even older brands, newer brands, we were all going through kind of like some sort of struggle. So thank you for sharing that. But of course, we have to move forward, and here we are today, having moved forward or trying to move forward. I'm really curious to know, so for the future, right, the vision for the future, we're looking into the future. I'm curious to know about two things. One, from your lens, where do you see the local crafts, apparel, textile industry going? And B, what is your courageous vision? And I say courageous because as we gave you guys a round of applause earlier, and for the other brands, it takes courage to still be here and keep going. Just to keep going is really an achievement in itself. So your courageous vision for your brand in the future landscape, having known na there are unknown circumstances happening. Mike, I want to start with you. So those two questions, if you can just share.
Well, putting it simply, the sustainable materials is just going to get bigger, the demand for it.
Wow.
In fact, it's already, let's face it, climate change has got a lot to do with it. And I expect more products to be made out of sustainable products or materials. Some have taken the recycling route. In our case, it's more of the natural fiber route. So there are different strategies, but the important thing is that we are here to protect the environment. And that's going to be the in thing right now. I mean, the eco-fiber market is already a $40 billion market. So the sustainable footwear is already $7.5 billion as of 2020. So I see a lot of growth there. And the Philippines, we're in a strong position to basically be dominant if we only put our acts together with the support of the government. We have all the fibers available here. We have the technology. It's just a matter of sana the government can help us more in terms of incentives, tax rebates, making it easier to bring in more investors, for example. So a lot of it, it's putting things together. I hope they don't make it more difficult. So that's how I see, fearless forecast.
Courageous vision for your brand, for the future.
I'll be using other materials and other technology.
Are you in R&D phase of other materials?
It's continuous. As we speak, while we're producing and selling this, we're doing already the other next generation.
That's something to look forward to.
It's not non-stop, I'm telling you, because it's very interesting.
My grabe, it's so sobrang respect. Yeah, no, because it's so hard to keep thinking of new ways and innovation.
That's why my wife handles the production. I handle the planning and the vision. And No, I help.
No, but you're so brave.
Just kidding.
Yeah, amazing.
But it's a teamwork, and a lot of people are involved. You guys are involved in media and ArteFino. You're part of our journey because with you guys around, also it strengthens us to make us to allow us to take more risks, basically. So that's important. We help each other here, and eventually the outcome would be you grow
Together, yeah.
together. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. Anyone? Those two
I can-
questions. Yeah, go for it.
How my what's that courageous vision?
No, first, where do you see the local crafts, apparel, textile industry going?
Yeah.
Where are we going?
Yeah.
And then courageous vision for the future for your brand.
I think it's going to be because before we were on the phase of just like exploring. A lot of us were just exploring how to really appreciate what we have locally. But right now, I feel like we're on the cusp of really finessing, and we are on the point of really making even more beautiful things out of what we have. Kasi dati parang, di ba, it's more, okay, we just use the local materials, or we just go for whatever is parang catchy in terms of a sustainable. But right now, dahil nga it's already there, people are becoming more adventurous, especially the designers.
Yeah.
And because of that, I think it's going to be like a collaborative community at the end of the day, and it will really increase. I don't know. For me, it's so exciting just to have like different brands helping each other, or different designers just working together.
Yeah.
That's so exciting.
A lot of magic that can happen.
A lot of magic, and it's going to, I feel like, lift everyone up. Kasi you can't do everything naman, diba, as a brand. So it's all about, reaching out to other people and say, I can't do, like having that humility that I can't do this. I think you can do better. Like Rio, okay, so I'm a lot older than Rio, and Rio is this young, super energetic person. So I think some of you may have seen her reels. So she's the one who brings like so much light and energy.
Wala ka energy.
And I'm not as energetic as her.
I got how to make sneakers.
I know. I used to be all the high heels and the corners, and now I do sneakers because of that.
Also, maybe ArteFino can ask Rio to host how to do reels for the older creators.
We were just talking
like
about
me. Sasali ako dyan. How to make reels.
Samsung.
There's a takeover
Using Samsung.
You campaign too, huh?
Yes, let's do it.
Ako din, sali ako.
Voluntold ka na.
Go, Rio. Yeah? Ikaw, where are we going? Where are we going? Everything we're doing, where do you think we're headed towards, and your courageous vision for your brand?
Like all of you, I'm also super excited. I'm very excited because I feel like the conversation about sustainability is just beginning, and we have to continue the conversation outside of this round table, everywhere we go, because we are all just trying our best. We are, even in our daily lives, we try to be as sustainable as we can, and we're just starting. So there's a lot more. As for courageous
vision.
Well, I always used to answer this question by saying I really, really hope na eventually, in some way, wala nang retaso. Because there's a lot. There is so much fabric. Yes. There has to be some sort of, way to recycle them completely, or repurpose them in some way, because ang dami talaga. Or a way to, there are a lot of ways to do zero waste pattern making. But brands right now have to take that extra step to actually learn these new techniques, or else we will have to continue having all of this waste, and it's just gonna pile up. So
that's amazing.
That's very, very ambitious. Like
the fact that you thought about it, it means that it's possible. Yeah. What about for you, Mara?
Ako na naman yung last.
That's the last.
No, so I want to start my answer by giving an example of how ArteFino has made buy local fashionable.
Yes.
Diba? Kung dati, yung mga tao, magsusuot lang ng made in the Philippines pag Filipino Week.
Yes.
Or,
Linggo ng
you know,
Wika.
Linggo ng
Wika.
Wika. Or kung may event.
Filipiniana
wedding.
tea.
Ayan, Filipiniana tea. Yung wedding ko,
Ba't di
Filipiniana.
pwede
Oh, wow.
everyday?
Alam lang nila barong saka
Yes.
Yeah.
Diba? And,
barot saya.
and it didn't take ArteFino overnight to achieve this. It took years, and it's still ongoing. We're still trying to convince people that buying local, wearing local is fashionable, it's good for our country, it's good for the environment, and it's worth your money. Diba? Tama. So it's still an ongoing conversation. We're still trying to change the mindset of people to buy local. Ganun din ako. Oo. Kasi ako naman, ang battle cry ko, where did your wood come from?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I learned that from you today.
Yes. So as, you know, whenever you're going to buy a wooden product, whether it's a dining table or a bed or a chair or a chopping board or a wooden bowl, your question should always be, where did that wood come from?
Yes.
Galing ba yan sa natural forests natin? Wala na nga tayong natural forests, di ba? So our desire is really for people to have this mindset when you are purchasing, not just wooden products. It's really more about being more mindful of your purchases.
Or inquisitive.
Inquisitive.
Yeah. Curious.
Yes. Just, you know, how is this product made? What was the material? Who made your clothes? What was the material that was used? Was it local? Was it renewable? Etc. 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 So for us talaga, yun talaga yung gusto naming ma-instill sa mga tao. Na tanungin nyo, pag bumibili kayo ng kahit anong bagay, tanungin nyo, paano ginawa yung bagay na yan? Saan yan gawa? Saan galing? Sino mga gumawa? Nakatulong ba yan? Ano ang alternative? Diba? May alternative ba yan na locally made? Ganyan.
How long it will last?
How long it will last?
You have the buying power. So you
Correct.
deserve to ask
Correct.
these questions.
Tapos kami, one of the things that we do in order for us to help achieve that goal of ours is we conduct sustainable tree farming seminars. So we open up our farm every year from February, the non-rainy months, February to May, and we hold sustainable tree farming seminars. It's a paid seminar, but in that paid seminar, we teach you all our mistakes, all our 25, 30 years of experience in developing a tree farm, so that you won't have to commit the same mistakes we did. You will have a better success rate
Like
in
what you're
developing
doing.
your own tree farms. Diba? So we've had attendees from all over the Philippines, Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. Kasi gusto namin na mapanaganap yung mga tree farms. Para kunyari, gagawa ka ng bahay sa Davao. Diba? Doon ka na bibili sa plantation sa Davao. Diba? Hindi ka na sa akin bibili dito sa Luzon. Kasi malaki pang carbon footprint yun. Diba? So, people always tell us, oh, Mara, you're creating your own competitors. Diba? But of course, diba? Because the end goal is going to help not just our environment, but also our economy. Diba? The more tree farms there are, the more accessible they will be to consumers, the better it is for everybody.
Yes.
Yeah. Definitely. Yes?
Yeah, kasi if parang I really resonate with that. Kasi even if, like, you can't serve the whole Philippines. Like, if someone else should benefit din naman, di ba? So, like, even if you're creating your own competitors, they're bringing something to the industry. And for me, you shouldn't see them as competitors. You should be actually...
There's a piece of the pie for everyone.
Yeah.
That's how I believe it. And parang
You
yun
should
nga,
challenge
instead of
people.
competing, you collaborate, which is what you're
Collaborate,
doing.
yeah. Parang, for us, we have that tagline, collaborate, not compete.
Yes.
Because parang it's just sad to have, like enemies or something. But it's just nicer to have a community that shares, a community that
We grow together.
grows
Yeah.
together. Exactly.
Yeah. And you learn something from them and you impart something to them as well.
Yeah, can I just add
Yeah,
one?
go for
Just
it.
a short.
Okay.
So, the way I see it, kasi there are a lot, the movement on going local, support local is already there. Everyone is aware of that. I'd like also to push, especially on the manufacturing side. My wish, long term, is that more value-added processing and manufacturing should be done here, locally. Especially in the textile industry, a lot of our fibers are being exported, and it's the value-added processing is being done abroad. What I want to happen right now, with hopefully what we're doing, is that more manufacturing should be done here, not only the assembly but also even the raw materials.
Yes. We lack that.
Because with that, let's face it, we're too dependent on China. And what one lesson we learned from the pandemic is that a lot of these materials got delayed in the deliveries because we're not self-sustaining. So if we push government and other private sector players to do more manufacturing here, it should become back, especially with our natural resources here. We can do it.
Kasi when the borders closed, diba? Parang what happened?
Can I boost what they're doing? So Lakat, just to share what they do. So us, we are very limited with the materials that we have. Kasi that's why nga I turned to Paete for the carpets kasi we don't have a manufacturer here for heels. So for Lakat, because they can achieve the scale, they're able to have, this is so hard what they're doing, to have the sole, sole match the color of the upper. Kasi you can't do that in a small batch.
Yes.
You have to do that in a big batch to mix that
So you do a
rubber.
big batch.
So so I'm happy that they're doing what they're doing because it allows the industry to have more access to these options for manufacturing.
Amazing, grabe. And I feel like we can go on pa. There's so many, I have questions. Mga whole day, 24/7 tayo. No, but really, as expected, for me at least, my expectations were really met because I was expecting to learn so much today. And I feel like we can go on. Maybe ArteFino, we can do a part 2. Hint, hint. I volunteered to moderate again because I just really love hearing from everyone. But right now, as promised, do you guys have questions, I'm sure? So please feel free to throw your questions our way. Our speakers will be more than happy to ask. We're opening the floor now for Q&A. Yes, please. What is your question?
Yeah, so this is something that we were talking about yesterday when we were finding out where you are on session today. So I guess I will ask the question, anybody can answer this. But every business wants to grow, right? So I guess the question is, what does scaling up mean to you, and how do you do that responsibly?
Oh, good question. Anyone? Ako wala pa akong answer. So, what does scaling up mean to you? And how do you do that responsibly? Yeah, because like for me, my brand, it's not a social enterprise. So it's only me. I can't sustain a community in in terms of resources. So it's a business. And Anya was like, okay, so if you're not a social enterprise, maybe it's a cultural enterprise. It's a new term she coined for me. But I don't know. Like, diba, syempre you want volume. How do you do that without, just really mindlessly producing so much? So if anyone has insights.
I can go first. So for us, kasi so Risque has this aspect that we only do like made to order or pan-request pre. Kasi especially for shoes, diba? There's so many like factors like the size, the fit, everything. So we don't really mass produce anything. But in terms of scaling, you can do that by also again working with other people, like not creating things that are not demanded by I think that's creating new things that are not just for the sake of creating. I mean that's good also sometimes for experimentation, but not doing it in excess. Like for example, for us also with the brands that we make for, we don't really mass produce also for them. We make sure that what they get is only what they can sell as well. Okay. Because we don't want excess, and that will eventually turn into waste. At the same time, making sure that whatever you produce will last for a while. Like for me, the biggest compliment is kapag the shoes that we made, parang a client of ours will come back like 5 years after. Hey, buo pa yung shoes ko. I'm still using it. So for me, or sabihin niya, yung swelas lang, yung parang, okay, yung swelas, can you actually like maybe change it? I will say yes. I will say yes. Because we want to extend the life of the things that we make. I'm sure for everyone here, we want that it's not, just part of getting trashed afterwards.
Yeah. Mike, anything?
My answer to that would be you really have to master your supply chain.
Yes.
From the raw materials to everything. Because from there, you can control everything, your costs. That's one. I mean, this is one of the, I'd say, very important aspect in the business. Then, rapid prototyping is also in our blood. In other words, when you see a product that's already more or less 70% ready, go try it in the market, then we improve.
Yeah.
I mean, don't wait to over plan sometimes. Well, that's a tendency. I mean, if you're a new guy in the block, normally it's, siyempre, parang you want to be sigurista. But I'd say you have to test the market in a way and have a good marketing strategy.
Yes.
Marketing, yeah.
That's the key there. I mean, how you message your product, let's say characteristics or benefits. Like for example, we get feedback right now that's very profitable. That's added plus already. So you have to message also what your product can offer clearly and truthfully. Kasi hindi lang, there might be a lot of claims that aren't true. So a bit of transparency naman. That's my suggestion. So know your supply chain by heart. Perfect your product. I mean, make it eventually improve on it over time. Then come and experiment. That's how I would put it simply.
Thanks, Mike.
For us, I'm trying to kind of frame it in a way that's okay. So we're a tree farm, right? We only have a certain number of trees. 130,000. 130,000. 136. Okay. We harvest about 200 to 400 trees a year. That's roughly 1%. We've had exporters come to us wanting to place an order, which will basically cut down all of our trees. And we said no, because then we're not a tree farm anymore. We want our tree farm to be evergreen. That's why we don't do clear-cut harvesting, because that is inherently who we are. So we have yet to tap the entire Philippines as our market. And that's something that we do, keeping in mind that we're a tree farm. And we don't really aim to mass produce. We would rather work, custom-made items in smaller scale, more of them, but not to the point where it's going to delude our whole tree farm. So this is why we're also trying to encourage other people to create their own tree farms, because the more of us there is, the more supply there will be of sustainable wood. And maybe in that way, we are able to share the supply to a growing demand.
Right.
So that's how we look at scaling up.
Right.
We scale up not to mass produce ourselves using our own trees, but to help develop other tree farms so that together we are a lot to be able to meet a certain demand. So that's how we see scaling up to be.
So mine is super fast. Kaya niyo ako kilala. How to scale, kailangan natin gumawa ng TikTok. That is my answer, thank you.
Tutorial, please. Tutorial. Thanks, Rio. Okay. Wow, that was an afternoon chock full of just knowledge and insight. And even me, as a local business owner, really inspired by all of your insights. So thank you. And I might message you guys one of these days to ask for tips on Shopify and all of those things that you guys talked about earlier.
Sure.
But yes, so remember in the beginning we were talking about how you were discovered by ArteFino and how really ArteFino has been such an amazing and effective platform in really for smaller brands starting out, or even older brands who have already been established, as a platform, diba, to get their business and their stories out there. But of course, ArteFino is not just about clothes, apparel, or lifestyle. They also have food. I've discovered a lot of amazing food brands. Like yesterday, I was going around and sugar-free desserts and the dips of Seven Pantry, which nakalahati ko na siya last night, by the way, and coffee. So many brands, right, that ArteFino has really helped through their effective platform. And with that, this brand, I regularly purchase from them, and I've been a fan also of their story for a while now. And it's homegrown, so it's something that we can also be proud of. And I'd like to introduce our special guest, Pam Picasso Garcia of Tigre y Oliva Chocolates, to share about the brand. And Pam, because chocolates, I'm gonna join you. I'm a little hungry. Sana may ka-taste test. But yes, can you please tell us more about your brand story? And yes, you can try chocolate. Can we try chocolate?
Yes, of course.
Okay, I'll do it for you. Yes, you're right. Hi, Pam.
Hi. Thank you so much for having us this afternoon. You know, it's really fun to try to cheer things up with a little chocolate. I'd just like to say your stories are so interesting. Thank you for sharing, you know, everything that you've gone through, the hardships, pandemic, sustainability. And I guess we have similar parallel experiences also in food. Yeah. So in food, we've also experienced these kind of hardships and challenges. And thank you so much for having us to share our story. We are a young startup. We are Beat the Bar Chocolate Company. And we actually built our commissary during pandemic. So a lot of people said, what are you doing? Why are you doing this during pandemic? It's the worst time to do it. So yeah, we thought we were a little bit cuckoo then. But you know, we have to remember, you know, what is the core thing when you think about chocolates? And why are we here? Why are we doing this? So, first of all, hey, thought, chocolates, what do they connote? What do you think of? What emotions? So, chocolates, think the opposite. Guilt-free snack that has health benefits. It releases endorphins, serotonin, think of love.
Pleasure.
Yes,
Mood enhancer.
joy.
Pleasure.
Pleasure. So it was our mission to create this memorable experience one home at a time. One household. That was our goal. One household with areas, no one said, you know, that's not a long way for us. So we are a Bean to Bar chocolate company, and our process really craftsmanship and sustainability. These are the two important values for Tigre y Oliva. So craftsmanship, I know we say craftsmanship, artisanal, sustainability is so loosely used now. But, you know, we're all about small batches. We're not a big commercial chocolate company. So we do things that are fine and premium. We do things with a lot of care and dedication. And sustainability, because we have a sister company called Seed4 that's run by my partner, Ron Crisostomo. So he's into agriculture. We source the cacao beans through him. And through Ron, Seed4, we work hand in hand with communities, farming communities from Bohol, from Albano, from Davao, and we teach these farmers how to do reforestation, how to lower the carbon footprint. We also teach them how to use less chemicals, because we do not want them to use all these pesticides and whatnot, but we teach them new farming methods. And so for this way, you know, we make sure the raw ingredients and raw materials, like with the farmers, we make sure that they treat the cacao pods with utmost care. In the same way that it's turned over to us, the fruits of their labor, we also treat with the utmost care the work that they've done. So during the pandemic, just to share, we were just primarily a bean-to-bar company, so we only sold chocolate bars. And we realized that we had to do something because, you know, chocolate wasn't necessarily a necessity. You know, for me,
For sanity.
For other people, it might have been, you know, like, I'll order ramen, fried rice, but chocolate may not have been on the top of the list. And so we had to think about the customers, the changing trends. People were sending ayuda, people were having these small family gatherings, and so we built a pastry art. That's why we now have cookies, cakes, brownies, we're developing blondies, and everything using our own chocolate. And so when people say, you know, this is so good, and they try it, it's because it's using our own chocolate. We pair the correct chocolate
the recipe. So it's not a standardized chocolate that we use in the pastry, but it's specifically paired with the actual baked goods so that the chocolate is still the hero. We had to make sure that it wasn't drowned out by the other components of baking goods, but we had to make sure the chocolate is still the hero.
In fact, I don't know if you mentioned it, but I know that you guys make everything, like even like the peanut butter.
Yes.
And
so as much as we can, we do not outsource. We want to do as much as we can in-house, from the homemade caramel to peanut butter. We don't buy store-bought. So we try to do everything full circle and end to end, so that this decreases wastage also within the commissary and within the plant. Everything gets to be reused into something else. That also helps us with the R&D when we brainstorm. It's like, what do we have on hand? What can we mix together? And so that's really an important part of our brand. So always, thank you for supporting us. Thank you so much.
It's such an amazing brand, and actually, this one, guys, if you ever get the chocolate bar, for me, when I was redecorating my home, might be actually, this wrapper is so nice, the graphic. I actually framed this. It's such a, for me, it's like Art Deco inspired na print,
which Leah's actually spot on. Everything was very deliberate when we did the packaging. It was inspired by the Art Deco period. Actually, our font is the font that's used on the Dole Mitangere. So there's a lot of Philippine and heritage references in our packaging. The circles that you see, this is actually the circles used in the old Philippine stamps. It's the sun that is used in the Philippine stamps, and also in the old piece of coin. You will find also the old bills circle with the sun rays, and that's what we incorporated in our packaging. So everything is deliberate. You might think at first glance it doesn't look very Filipino, but we really went into the historical heritage. We looked through references, and we put it all together, and this is the packaging we came up with.
Thanks for sharing, it's framed in my house.
And we're very happy to share with everyone today some chocolate. Please feel free afterwards to come try here at our table. We want to share with you, like, for example, this is our best seller. It's called the Pili Butter Bar. And basically because it embodies the whole Philippines when we talk about it. And you'll taste it in one bite. So it's made from pili butter. We make our own pili butter. And of course, pili is indigenous to the Philippines. And of course, chocolate goes well with saltiness. Instead of the usual salted caramel, we made our own patis caramel. Yeah, so very local, very Filipino, and we taste it in one bite. It has that balance of the dark caramel
instead of salt.
Yeah, instead of salt.
Thanks, Pam. Before I let you go, I want to ask you what I asked them, just briefly, if you could share your courageous vision for Tigre y Oliva.
Actually, my vision is not just for my brand. My vision is for to highlight and put Philippine chocolate on a global map. And for me, that means not thinking of other chocolate players as competitors, but I hope one day that they will embrace and support Philippine, cacao industry as a whole, to work collectively and synergize to put Philippines on the map. Because actually, sorry, a bit of trivia. Asia, actually the Philippines, was the first country where cacao was planted. This was during the Spanish colonial period. So even before Indonesia, Malaysia, Vietnam, it was Philippines where cacao first landed. We have the first heirloom cacao beans, cacao plants. So, but people don't know us for our cacao so much as West Africa, Ivory Coast, Ghana, Ecuador, Peru. But we have this interesting story to tell. We are the first country. The Spaniards brought it here during the galleon trade. It came here, and that's how long it's been here. So we would love to collectively put Philippine cacao on the global map.
Let's claim that. Thanks for sharing that, Pam. Please stay with us. I'm going to go back to my seat. because we are wrapping up our, wow, time flies by. Time flies by so fast. And I feel like there's still so many insights that we can share. But just to wrap it up, thank you guys for staying with us. And as we all know, this year's ArteFino's theme is all about renew, repurpose, and regenerate, right? So for me, I can relate to those three words because diba, it's like a new beginning. You kind of had to rethink about your narrative, your brand, your products, and your system. And I want to ask each and every one, whichever order, whoever wants to share first, what does renew, repurpose, and regenerate mean to you personally and to your community? Pam, you'll also share, huh? Renew, repurpose, and regenerate.
Real purpose, real
Regenerate.
We're all about the branding.
Regenerate.
No, yeah, that's my answer.
Go ahead.
May ka na.
I'll go think. Nako, they're thinking. Sorry, let's extend a few minutes, please, guys. They're napaisip sila sa question.
What's your question? Sorry.
Renew, repurpose, and regenerate. What does that mean to you personally and to your community? It can be a personal journey or thing. Yeah.
Kidding aside, the marketing, I would say to share, I think for me, everyone should start, in terms of clothes, learning to, don't be afraid to be an outfit repeater, rewear, learn how to repair, be excited about the clothes you already have. And yeah, I guess that for me is the most simplest and easiest thing you can do in terms of, circularity.
Yeah.
And it's very refreshing each time you get to wear the same garment but in a different way.
That's true.
So, yeah, like I'm wearing the blazer in the photo. Actually, I just noticed while I was scanning the room.
And I'm wearing it over there.
And Pat is wearing it in the video over there. So, that's, yes.
Thank you so much. Oh my gosh. Oh, no. Yes. Go ahead, Mike.
Well, in my case, I'd like to focus on the word regenerate because it's related to what I'm doing, especially the agriculture side. So it's part of my policy really to revive cotton and other fibers for my use and everyone's use in the textile industry. So I'd say regenerative practices, we have to go back to the old ways of lessening the use of chemicals. That's one. I'm not speaking having an organic farm here, but it's more on proper soil management should be involved here, taking care of the land. So I think that's basically it, because with that we can come up with a more sustainable supply of the raw materials, especially the fibers. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. Anyone next?
For me, I have another just for that. Renew, repurpose, regenerate. Just reach out.
Ooh.
It's just that.
Connect
and reach out. Because a lot of these things, like renewing, it's something that can be from you, can be assisted by others. Repurposing, it's just, I don't know, reaching out to the corners of your brain, of, like what to do and everything. And then like regenerating, like, I don't know, it's just all about reach and to create impact, I guess. Like,
definitely,
yeah,
good way to start doing that, right?
And like what you said, ganun din. Actually, the pants I'm wearing, I reached out to my husband's closet. This is actually.
And they reached out to me to cut it.
Okay.
That's
so it's all about
reaching out.
Reaching out. Okay. Pam, are you ready?
I think for me, for the different direction, and Lisa was talking to me about this. I think ArteFino is such a great platform because Lisa said you're going to meet so many different people, different entrepreneurs, different people from different walks, different perceptions, different ideas, and just hearing what they do, there's so much room for collaboration.
Yeah.
And I guess like working with other people. And so I think this is a great opportunity. And so just seeing this just opens doors now, even though we're just food and chocolate.
Yeah.
But there's room to play in fashion, textiles, home,
I'm
design,
sure. Yeah.
and just meeting these people just opens doors for us. So
yeah. That's great. And it's personal and also community. It serves your personal community as well. Mara?
So for me, it's really about changing your mindset. And I mentioned this earlier, it's really about being more conscious about your purchases. It's about buying things that you know will last longer. So moving away from things like fast fashion, appreciating what is made locally, and knowing how things are made when you purchase something. Because at the end of the day, you buy what you need.
Yes.
Right? Sometimes you'll buy what you want.
And deserve.
Right? And deserve, definitely. But it's really about mindful and conscious consumption. So that's what it is for me.
Wow, that's spot on. Right? And it's such a good wrapping up of this conversation, inspired conversation. Thank you so much, Pam, Rio, Tal, Mara, and Mike. Again, my name is Bea Constantino. Thank you, ArteFino family. Thank you for providing this platform for us. Thank you.
It's so inspiring. It's really why we do what we are doing now with ArteFino.
Thank you.
We're good? Yeah, go ahead. We can, okay.
Thank you. Thank you, ArteFino.
Next on our program, I'd like to introduce Sophie Borromeo Alvarez of Smart Infinity. Hi, Sophie. We have recently made a connection with Sophie again. She was part of the 2017 ArteFino Fair under her fashion brand, but now we have reconnected with her together with Smart Infinity.
Thank you very much, Mel, and good afternoon to all our lovely guests. We hope you enjoyed the roundtable discussion with us, and thank you so much for gracing us with your presence despite the weather. Having the four very inspirational artists here and listening to their stories. For me in particular, I was mostly inspired by my former student, Rio. Several years ago, I was a fashion professor, and Rio was in her senior year in fashion school in Manila. And I remember so vividly in my class, I taught apparel design, which helped design students in particular, develop their ideas. And from that class, 4 of them are now making waves in the Philippine fashion industry, and Rio included. So it's wonderful to see and hear her journey as a once upon a time fashion professor. But with that, together with lifestyle food and drink, tasting brought to you by ArteFino, Smart Infinity, and of course our device partner Samsung. As the world moves towards big changes, we continue to find new ways to explore, to connect, and of course to bridge the physical gaps that have restrained us from doing more. Now with the help of technology, Smart Infinity is here to execute that change.
Infinite tomorrows to ask. We believe there are infinite ways to make the world better. Infinite legacies. Infinite tomorrows to ask. We believe there are infinite ways to make the world better. Infinite legacies. Infinite tomorrows to ask. What difference can be made today? the futures we design. The communities we raise. The culture we create. The planet we save. We believe that with smart employees, dedicated support, and robust data, calls, and texts, we hold the power to keep making the world better forever. It's simple. We believe impact is infinite.
So with this, we aim to empower Filipinos to do more, with no limitations, with no boundaries, allowing you to bounce, connect, and explore endless horizons of possibilities, where you can maximize your capabilities to become catalysts of change. To support people in all their endeavors, Smart Infinity has revitalized our cloud services with Infinity Plans. The Infinity Plans 5000 and Infinity Plan 8000 offer our members unlimited 5G mobile data. You can also enjoy unlimited all-network mobile and landline calls and all-network access. Our Infinity Plan 8000 also includes 2,400 pesos monthly consumable allowance, which allows you to use for roaming or international calls in Texas. Now, on top of that, the Infinity Plan gives you a dedicated relationship manager and access to members-only perks and privileges, courtesy of our portfolio of luxury brand partners. To commemorate today's event, we are offering an exclusive Infinity package for all our guests here with us today. This package is for today. Earlier this morning in our session, we had a funny incident where a guest got so excited and rushed up straight to the Samsung store. You can actually avail that plan here with us today. We invite all our interested guests to get to know more about our Infinity plans, together with the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 4 and the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 4, which we are offering complimentary at the Infinity Plan 5000. Now today in the telecommunications industry, we are making or adding convenience as everybody year after year is connected through their mobile devices. It is called mobile number portability or MNP, which allows you to retain your current number but you switch networks. So for example, you're a smart user or a globe user and you've been attached to your mobile number all these years and want to refrain from the hassle of informing all your contacts. We have now changed your number. Mobile number portability is there to assist you with that. Now to know more about that, our Infinity relationship managers are stationed at our Infinity Lounge over there, and they can assist you with all your Infinity needs for today. Now furthermore, here at Smart Infinity, we actually offer the most rewarding mobile experience through our exceptional product offerings, exclusive lifestyle privileges, because at the end, we aim to be an integral part of your daily lifestyle by creating a once-in-a-lifetime experience each and every time. We aim to empower entrepreneurs like yourselves, business leaders, and change makers through Samsung's recently released device launch and lineup featuring the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 4 and again the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 4 series. Smart Infinity believes in collaborating with brands that enable our members to do more and live more to infinite possibilities in Infinity Way. Now, if I could please ask all of you to join me in giving each and every one of you, together with our very inspirational partners, ArteFino, Rockwell, and Samsung, a round of applause. Because without them, and of course with much gratitude, thank you so much for making this event truly possible. Thank you.
here in business with Smart Infinity to talk about how these new devices are changing the game.
Good afternoon, everyone. In Samsung, our goal is to bring meaningful innovations into the users' lives. Users like you, like me, all of us here. And I believe that we are delivering that within Galaxy Z Flip 4 and Z Fold 4, which are on the table today. So today we're grateful for a partnership with Smart Infinity and ArteFino for giving us this opportunity to create new experiences with you. It's very interesting to be part of this, this session today, being a listener and also being somehow a contributor. Some be wondering, what's what is Samsung doing here in this ArteFino roundtable discussion, right? But there are things that resonate. It's very interesting to learn from YouTube and actually evolve our devices. It is with the users, how users evolve, that we evolve as well. And to Rio's point, I just have is your, family referring to, okay, you have to make reels and you have to be good at TikTok. But yes, even our phones have to evolve to that. Meaning, yes, the phones last year could do that, but now the phones on this table can do that better than how they were doing it last year. So we continue to evolve. So things like design, self-expression, and sustainability. Sustainability can be for a different conversation. In the recent years, it has played a very important role in us coming up with these devices. So whether you are a social entrepreneur, a designer, a furniture maker, a tree farmer, all of us have different facets of our lives. We have devices that can cater to your needs and as we continue to evolve. And in this talk about resilience and all of that, we still have to be who we are and do more than what we usually just do. We have the devices that can help you be more of who you are today. So today we feature our devices, our Z Flip 4, this one, which we have links here that can help you go and experience them yourselves. This is our ultimate smartphone for self-expression. It's such a very small package. You open it, thank you very much, and it unfolds a new world of possibilities. And we have here the Z Fold 4. This is our productivity powerhouse. And we all want to do more and be more, accomplish more than what you ever thought was possible. So there's actually a lot to unfold and to flex up these devices, but I urge you to see for yourself and experience them with the help of these ladies. And I can't further stress on the amazing offers that are available today through Smart Infinity. I know what's out there, and I know what they're offering because of this partnership with ArteFino. So I urge you to reach out to the relationship managers of Smart Infinity today and ask about how you can avail of one. Thank you.
For our Smart Infinity ArteFino guests, we're raffling off a Galaxy Z Fold 4 today for this session. So for those who are here this morning and those who are here this afternoon, all of you have a chance at this raffle. So we will be kindly choosing the winner for us today.
And the winner today for the
Me. No, I'm just kidding. Is Patricia Pineda.
Oh my God! This is it!
Something in the back, pero it's okay. Yeah. Where are the people?
I prayed
There,
for it.
Go. Thank you.
Yay!
One, two, three.